Kingdom Day 11 on my in-depth sleeper guide. The last instruction I gave you in video day 7 was we are now entering the hoarding phase of the account. What this means is we are attempting to not use speed ups to gather up resources so that we can have a big push. What's the aim of that big push? Well, the aim is to obtain gold heads. The difficult part of the hoarding phase is to maintain your position in the top alliance, because on day 10 sleeper migrants will appear in the kingdom and can well push out people that have not kept pace. I am now right down at level 65 or rank 65 in my alliance for power. I was around rank 40, so you can see I've had a significant drop. My power has only crawled forward 258,000 power over 4 days, which is not brilliant. I'm not in trouble yet, but I'm right down there at the bottom, so we need this power push to come soon, because what we don't want to do is spend speed ups for nothing in return. So let's just recap. When you first make the account, you use speed ups to obtain the blacksmiths. It's fantastically valuable and contributes to your account throughout its entire lifespan. Then, if you are like me, you go for the City Hall 17, the Hidden Lotus for that 4th march, and the space in the top alliance. If I was only account power 1.2 million, yes, I would have a far more stronger Sun Tzu, but I wouldn't be in the top alliance, and if I wasn't in the top alliance, I wouldn't be collecting rewards like this. 10k gems and 700 in 30-minute speed ups. That's quite a serious haul. Let's have a look what that does to my hoarded speed ups. To be clear though, I do sometimes use speed ups whilst I'm hoarding. Should I have a building that is finishing at, say, 2 in the morning whilst I'm asleep, then that's a valid use of speed ups whether you're hoarding or not, because you don't want to have an empty queue for 4 hours. I'm currently on 34 days and 9 hours in speed ups, so this is day 11, a great time to track your progress. Building speed ups one day 19 hours, research one day 4 hours, and training 2 days 10 hours. Usually I push training all the time because I want expedition progress, but even I wait for the holy sites giving the extra 5% to training, the storm altar, and of course I'm now able to obtain VIP 7, so let's just do that now, which should give me another 5% in my training. Also, I'm starting to collect a daily epic head, which is always useful. Let's now look at my training queue for barracks. So this was a 12-hour build, but after those 2 buffs, we are now looking at 11 hours and 6 minutes. So really gaining 1 hour in every 12 hours I use is a ginormous boost. Let's get them training again. The courier station, I am no longer using gems as we have got the Hidden Lotus and we are past that push phase. As a rule, I will not use gems again in the courier station throughout the life of this account, just relying on luck, nor will I be using the 100 gem refresh. That's something I just do on the first week, and it's important to stop. Another reason why it's important to stop is because at VIP 7, rather than use a courier station, it would be a better deal to buy the 8-hour speed from the VIP shop, which really, at this point, when you become VIP 7, the courier station should start to become more aggressive in its discounts, but it doesn't. It should also include the 8-hour speed ups, but again, it doesn't. So, VIP shop now over courier station, should you be desperate for speed ups, but I hope you've got that spot in the top alliance, and your major income of speed ups should be coming from the crystal and the rare gifts. I've just been able to collect an altar reward, so I've got nothing in there at the moment. But I have to date only had 2 gold chests on this account, so let's hope things get hotting up soon now that we have those new sleepers or high power sleepers joining the alliance. And as you say, that's a major income to the account for speed ups. Let's for a moment review what we have. Building power 555, technology 295, troop power 369, and commander power 541. If we go over into troops though, the tier 1's starting to build up. 220,000 is a considerable army, so I can field 2 full marches now, which I hope is going to help me push Expedition forward, but I'm currently still stuck on 35. Expedition 35 is of course unacceptable for the logic bank, so I've gone out and grabbed myself a training rune, and I'm now going to put all my speed ups or my training speed ups into troops. So let's start that now. You may point out that I've just told you to only use your speed ups if you're going to win gold heads, and you're right, I am kind of going against what I just said, but a free-to-play is never going to win a training competition in the game. You're very unlikely to compete with a whale in training. It just doesn't happen. And the Ethelfled heads, which I will get from Expedition Progress, are a legendary head. And at the moment, it's the only way I can get them. So, although it's not a universal legendary head, it is an Ethelfled legendary head, which for me at this moment, especially as I'm interested in Sunset Canyon, is just as useful. But you need to tailor this guide to what you are looking to get out of the account. So if you're not interested in Sunset Canyon, don't waste your training speed ups like this, and possibly save them for a generic power increase in event like Game of Power, where the training isn't the be all and end all, and you can still hopefully get into the top 20 even as free to play. Time to get Sun Tzu to 5 stars. Does this mean I'm going to be an infantry account? No, it doesn't. It's just that I need Sun Tzu to progress Expedition, I need Sun Tzu for Sunset Canyon, and remember at the start of the game, Sun Tzu, because he has the skill talent tree, and because his reduced damage is to all troop types, not just infantry, he is universally useful at the start of the game when you have a mixed march. So that's why I from now on will always tend to start China, even if I intend to use Belisarius, or like I did on my last count for some reason, Joan. I'm now going to buff up with the 5% attack there, and I'm out getting a rune, and let's push this expedition forward and get some more 3 stars under our belt, and certainly give El Cid a good kicking. Right, let's take El Cid down. Now remember, I have a very large army because I was power spreading in my troops. I have a lot of tier 1, I have a lot of tier 2, and now I've got quite a few tier 3. El Cid is obviously quite difficult. He's all tier 3 and he hits really hard. But I'm now at a stage where, although my armies are independently weak, they can carry commanders for almost a whole march or almost a whole time of the battle, because they have about 80,000 troops. That means even though they're not doing a lot of damage, the tier 1s, etc., they can still apply debuffs and the skill damage to El Cid. So I'm in fact going to 3-star this now that I've extended the number of tier 3 that I have, and I've got my Sun Tzu, of course, up to level 5 stars. So also, if you see, I've got a march there that is just doing the buff from Joan and the healing from Cleopatra, because it's only tier 1s, they're doing literally no damage. Now remember, Sunset Canyon fighting and expedition fighting is very different to open field. In open field, you can't do these tactics because tier 1s and tier 2s will fill your hospital up. Because if you attack a tier 4 with tier 1s, all of them go to the hospital. But But if you attack a tier 1 with tier 1s, only like 20% go to the hospital. So you fight at a huge disadvantage. I have now 3-starred up to level 39, but I'm afraid YSG is just too strong. The tactics are, of course, to attack him north, south, east and west, and your marches will only be hit one at a time by his skill, but that's still not the trick that's going to help me pass this. I just need more firepower, more buffs, more equipment, and better commanders. So that's going to be a fail. I think I get him down to 40,000 though, which is pretty fair. And I can keep retrying this because every time I increase 1% attack, it will go to 39,000. And another skill on Sun Tzu, it'll go to 38,000 and so on. So I'm a lot closer than it looks. And then that will also be a result on the Expedition Dash, the new event where you get a bit of reward for getting to level 40. Also remember, Expedition Dash, not only a really fun event to test your skills, test your commander knowledge, test your army of how well you're doing, it's also just for the sleepers. So let's open that up. Well, there's an advert for Firefly. Let's now look at the people there. So only 13 people have managed this because the jumpers are excluded. Now, I don't know how many of these are free to play, but what they all are in the same migration window as me. So I can reach 76, so can all of these players, and this is one way of identifying people that could sleep with you. Sorry, that feels weird, doesn't it? People that could migrate with you to your target kingdom. But we're not here to recruit, we're just here for fun. Now let's talk a little bit about scouting your future kingdom, because I now have my range available. I can get as far as kingdom 3766. So my kingdom is 12 days and 20 hours old, and 3776 is 3 days and 22 hours, so there's less than 10 days between us. A massive shout out to everybody that has gone to 3777, but I missed you by 40 minutes. I very nearly, by accident, was able to get to them. I hadn't intended to join them, but that would have been very funny if I was able to start in 69 and just join them, but I missed it by 40 minutes. But a big shout out to the 377 crew, or the Boom Boom crew. They're doing absolutely fantastic, and we'll have to check in on them in another video. Let's now have a look at, let's pretend we're going to scout the kingdom that I'm in. What are the first things I look for? So straight into ranking. I am interested not only in alliance power, which is 210's pretty healthy. I'm interested in, are there control, who's in charge? And all of these lotuses, the top 6, are all on the same team. That's a good sign. Also, we take into individual power, and all of these people are in the top 2 alliance. What we don't want is rogue whales. They can be a real nuisance during the Martell. They can be a real nuisance if they get upset. And sometimes they're spending a lot more money than the sensible whales. I mean, Pineapple here is on 12 million, which I think is absolutely a nice spot for a whale, because he's waiting for kingdom buffs before he makes his big pushes. Let's have a little look down. So the first rogue whale, or the first rogue strong player we have, is right the way down in 36, which is brilliant. So maybe he's even out at a farm, so that's great. We've got no rogue whales, so they are in sync. It doesn't look like there's been a massive civil war here. We've just had the first kill event, so these are all pretty low numbers. Alliance flags, 88 is pretty impressive, 87's good. This is where I would certainly expect them to be, around finishing just after the altars have been taken, and usually the flag should stop here. What we really want to see is people drop in the second Alliance Fortress, which none of these have done yet. They're on 73. They're on 73. So to see a 78 would be good at this point, where they swap out the center fortress. What a Pro Alliance does is place its second centrist fortress here, just above the first one. The second one costs 4.5 million and all of these resources, where the first one only costs 1 million Alliance coin. So when the Pass 2s open, they've hopefully filled up their saving, their storehouse in the Alliance, and they're all ready for Zone 2. They take down the Alliance coin, or the 1 million Alliance coin center fortress, and rebuild that into Zone 2, which means they will then not spend any of their resources on the center fortress, and they've got all of that for flags. So that's how a Pro Alliance saves for Zone 2. Now, if you're not able to get a good income of speed ups from the gold chests, then you've got to make your own luck. I have 2 8-hour speed ups here, which both came from Dauntless Lohar rewards, which is very lucky. The 3 hours, of course, have mainly come from the courier station, but I've also done the quiz, and I've also ranked third in one of the daily donation competitions, which is another 3-hour speed up. Sometimes you've just got to make your own luck. Also, I want to give a shout out to this alliance for their fantastic building. But remember, you need to take part as well. I have been gathering gold on Alliance territory because it helps. And not only have I been doing that quietly, I've also been doing it loudly by telling people in chat that I'm doing it, linking gold if I see it for other people, asking other people to gather gold if I see one. And also, I've been doing as many Fort 1s as I can, because I can set a Fort 1 going, and if only one person joins, then that's good enough. I can't do Fort 2s at the moment because if only one person joins, we might lose. But you've got to keep the forts going. You've got to keep the Blue Dauntless going. So that's the lifeblood of your alliance. These gifts trigger the crystals. And as you say, if you're not getting the speed ups from golds, you've got to make your own luck. Big shout out to Dark Professor, who keeps running these level 2 forts with his awesome cavalry commanders. I think I've done maybe 30 or 40 forts with him, and it just really helps everybody in the alliance because we're creating AP rewards for everybody in the alliance, which will help us in KVK1. And of course, it's just a great way where I can log in, send my army to join him. I know they're safe with him, and then off I go and get on with my day. A few people have asked me about my Sunset Canyon team, but it's really too early. Remember, I'm still at the recovering from my 1.5 million push, and I'm not really ready to fight. And even if I was, I don't have 5 marches, and the sleepers have arrived in this kingdom now, so I'm well out of my depth. I will just keep quietly building my team, but the real fighting in Sunset Canyon will start on day 20 when I arrive at my destination kingdom, which we have in sight and we've reached out to and had a chat with. So let's hope they don't fall into civil war or it falls apart, or let's hope that they pass when I give them a little scout. But what we can do is have a little nose at some of the other people's teams. So the person in first there, that's pretty good. I can't say there's any mistakes there. I like the look of that. Obviously he's a whale, so legendary head's not a problem. Some very high levels on them as well. Good old City Keeper, that's a bit of a pro team. I like that. Done very well for 4 marches. Good old City Keeper. There we are. Second and third both have City Keeper, and even first have City Keeper supporting Martel. That's pretty funny. Then we've got a whale here. That's fine. I wouldn't use Caesar, but that's up to them. Remember, Imop cannot be the first commander. His expertise won't work if you expertise him. So you shouldn't have leveled him past 35. That's a mistake. You need to swap him and put him behind another archer. Or Ethelfled, I guess. City Keeper in 6th? Go on. City Keeper in 7th? Come on. City Keeper in 8th? Wow. It's amazing how things catch on. So anyhow, that's the end of the video today. I hope everyone's enjoying this series, and I will update again. But I think my next update might not be for another week now, but I have some ideas for some content to fill in between.